What's happening? Welcome on in, everybody. It's your boy DG once again. NFL Week 5 recap. And as usual, if you enjoy the content, we ask that you please give us a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe to the channel. We certainly enjoy talking to you. We're just having a brief conversation. Nothing too serious, just a conversation between family members. Man, the NFL once again is the gift that keeps on giving. Week 5, as you can tell behind me, the squad is the squad. Little bummed out. The Pittsburgh Steelers dropped a game that they should not have dropped. That was just a gift to Indianapolis. Um, Fall to Indy, 27-24. Pittsburgh falls to 3-1. They get booted from the ranks of the unbeaten. It's certainly a game that Mike Tomlin and company are going to want back as they approach November, December. And when you start talking about playoff seeding, just a bad one to lose, just one that you should not have lost, especially when you consider the Steelers knocked out starting quarterback for Indianapolis, Anthony Richardson, early on. Looks like he suffered a hip pointer of some sort. Just a bad loss by Pittsburgh. Let's go through some of the numbers. Like I mentioned, Pittsburgh had a golden opportunity to remain amongst the unbeaten, but literally let it slip through their hands with that bad snap at the end that hit Justin Fields right in the face mask. However, it was not Fields' fault that they lost. Fields had arguably one of the better games of his career. Fields was 22 of 34 for 312 yards and ran 10 times for 55 yards. He's still a young quarterback. There were times in the game that I was screaming, dude, throw the ball away or just know when the play is over. You can't always create, but that's what you get with a young, inexperienced, athletic quarterback. They think they're athletic. Once the play breaks down, they think that their athleticism can bail them out because their athleticism has bailed them out throughout their career. That's not how it works in the NFL, folks. Live to fight another down, man. Take care of the ball, throw the ball away, whatever you need to do, but don't always try to milk the most out of a play because 9 times out of 10, you end up making a mistake, which was the case on a fumble that he had in a near pick that he should have thrown. So, but Justin Fields, played pretty well. Man, what the hell happened to the defense? And love some comments below as well. Love to hear from you guys out there. Talk to me because I'll talk back. But what in the hell happened to the Pittsburgh defense? Steelers were only giving up 10 points a game. The defense looked And I'm going to tell you something. Pittsburgh is not talented enough offensively to spot anyone 17 points. They fell down 17-0, and that was pretty much the death knell. Surprisingly, George Pickens finished with 7 receptions for 113 yards. He lost a fumble as well. Richardson went out with a hip pointer, and all the Steelers fans, such as myself, were licking our chops like, yeah, we got this. Not. You know why? Because Indianapolis, to their credit, made one of the better signings all off season. Old man Joe Flacco. I don't know how in the hell Cleveland let Joe Flacco go. Joe proved he can still get it done, folks. Flacco came in the game after sitting on the bench like, no problem. I got this. I mean, that dude is one of the most valuable signings because in the NFL, it's a game of attrition. At some point in time, you're going to lose your starting quarterback or everyone gets nicked up, and very few NFL teams have a quality backup. Most backups are just getting paid, robbing a bank because they can't play. The job of a backup is to come in and at least steady the ship until the starter can get back in. Well, Flacco can do you one better. This guy can actually win games, which was evidenced by him taking Cleveland to the playoffs last year. Check this out. Joe Flacco. Let me get the numbers. Flacco was 16 of 26 for 168 yards and a touchdown pass. What did I not read off? No interceptions, no fumbles. He's a veteran. He knows how to take care of the ball, and that is absolutely invaluable. Flacco came in, quote, you just see the guy and hit him. That's all you do, end quote. That's what veterans do. So, hats off to him. And I think Flacco's personality is just a cool, calm, collected, laid back guy. And let's not forget, this dude is a former Super Bowl MVP. So, man, great pickup for Indianapolis, but this is a game that Pittsburgh should have had. Jonathan Taylor, the Indy tailback, had a solid game, 21 carries for 88 yards. Bad news for Pittsburgh, more bad news for Pittsburgh, as their starting right guard, James Daniels, has an Achilles tear and will miss the remainder of the season. Pittsburgh was already nicked up on the offensive line. It's the third season-ending injury for a Steelers offensive lineman, as center Nate Herberg towards a rotator cuff during training camp. That's why you had the bad snap with the rookie there. And right tackle Troy Fautanu suffered a knee injury during practice the week after his first start. So, when you consider that, and when you consider Pittsburgh still has to get in the meat of its schedule and playing Baltimore twice and playing Cincinnati twice, who I still believe in Cincinnati, despite what Baltimore did to Buffalo last night, and we'll get to that later on. I still believe that Cincinnati is the team to beat in the AFC North. I really do. With Joe Flacco, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Hendrickson on that defense, Cincinnati is going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem come late October, November, and certainly going into December. So when you have an opportunity to pick up wins like this against a young, inexperienced Colts team, you got to do it. But on the flip side, this is the NFL, so anyone can get beat any given Sunday in the league. More numbers from this game. The Steelers' formerly top-ranked defense allowed a season high in points, as I mentioned, and Pittsburgh is simply not good enough despite any 117 points. They fall from the undefeated. You only have three teams remaining: Minnesota, Seattle, and Kansas City, with Seattle playing tonight to see if they can remain undefeated. So, let me wipe my tears from my eyes, but the Steelers drop one, go to 3-1. The next game that I want to talk about is the New York Jets and Denver Broncos. Man, you talking about a stink fest. I mean, that game was terrible. But once again, in the NFL, you take ugly wins. The Jets lose to Denver 10-9. Folks, anytime your defense holds the opposing team to 10 points and the opposing quarterback to only 60 yards passing, that has to be a dub. That's a W, by the way. Okay, you got it. That has to be a dub. Man, the Jets look bad. Aaron Rodgers, you can tell that dude is definitely 40 plus. He's not as mobile as he once was. Vance Joseph did a great job in coming in with the game plan to blitz him. I'm not going to let Aaron Rodgers sit back there comfortable and pick us apart. Nah, bruh. I'm going to blitz you. And he blitzed the heck out of Rodgers, who got sacked 5 times and hit 14 times. Hey, folks, for a 40-plus-year-old quarterback, that is a true recipe for disaster. That is not sustainable. If the Jets don't protect Rodgers, he will definitely not make it throughout the year. Quote me on that one. Rodgers was 24-42 for 225, no touchdowns. The game basically came down to the Jets kicker Zerline missing a 50-yarder. But I mean, you got swirling winds and rains there in New Jersey in the Meadowlands. Excuse me, Met Stadium, MetLife Stadium. You can tell my age, right? The Meadowlands. But how do you lose a game where the opposing team only scores 10 points? Bo Nix only had 60 yards passing. Nix was 12 of 25 for 60 yards and a touchdown. And they escaped for that one. That was stinky. And after the game, you could see it on his face when he slumped down on the bench with that towel over his head, like, man, this ain't what I signed up for. So it's going to be a long season for the Jets. And look, New York Jets fans, this is the year. I mean, Buffalo don't look like world beaters. You got the Patriots are certainly not world beaters. Miami without Tua, this is the year for you to clinch that division if you're going to do it. So bad loss by the Jets. Moving on to the next game. Tampa Bay and the Philadelphia Eagles. Ooh. Tampa broke out the whooping stick. And to me, folks, Todd Bowles has Philly's number. They lost to the Eagles in the playoffs. They lost to them again. Not only did they lose to them, but you got to remember, Tampa Bay was up 24-0 before halftime, before the Eagles got that last touchdown. Tampa Bay win the game 33-16, but it was never a contest. They blew the doors off of Philly. Baker Mayfield is looking like a number one pick, folks. Never a Baker fan. I always thought he's a little chippy, but that dude is balling. So hats off to Baker Mayfield. Mayfield 30 of 47 for 347 yards and 2 tuds. I mean, he's throwing on the Eagles like he used to do back at Oklahoma to Iowa State or somebody. And Mayfield had a rushing touchdown. The Bucs all-time scoring leader and future first ballot Hall of Famer. Yes, I said it. Mike Evans chipped in with 8 catches for 94 yards and a tud. Jalen Hurts was sacked 6 times. So if you're an Eagles fan, you might say, well, yeah, we lost the game. My cousin, by the way, he's a huge Eagles fan. I'm gonna give him hell after I end this podcast. You're gonna say, yeah, we lost. We didn't have our top 2 wide receivers in AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. That's true. But last time I checked, neither one of those guys played defense. I mean, Philly got shredded defensively. They got pushed around up front. So you can't blame that on the receivers. Jalen Hurts was sacked 6 times. And really, the eye test, when you watch the Eagles, even though they got a tough victory down in New Orleans the week before, Saquon Barkley is, man, without him, I don't know if this team would even have a win. Saquon right now is the offensive MVP. Something is not right with Philly. My eyes tell me, in my opinion, that Sirianni, who is not a head coach, by the way, let's not fool ourselves. This dude is not head coaching material. He may be a coordinator, maybe a position coach. And I feel the same way, by the way, with Salah for New York. He is not a head coach either. He's a coordinator, Robert Salah. So, yeah, man, Sirianni is in the midst of losing his team. See, it's one thing when players realize, like is the case in Philly, Sirianni is not the man pulling the strings. All the key decisions come from up top, from Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie and management. So when the players realize that you've been castrated to that degree, you don't have any juice, bro. And so you got a guy like Sirianni. Sirianni strikes me as someone who's extremely arrogant and pompous, right? Dude, you only had that one success when you had Shane Steichen. the more and more Philly gets away from having Shane Steichen, who was butter to Jalen Hurts' toast, you really see the ineptitude of Nick Sirianni because Jalen Hurts is definitely regressing. And Philly already paid Jalen Hurts. So I got news for you, Sirianni. They're not going to fire him. You're going to be gone. So it's just something wrong with that team because the Eagles have one of the top 5 most talented rosters in the NFL, and they shouldn't be getting pushed around like that. And they doggone sure shouldn't be getting outclassed 24-0 in the first half. I mean, that's pretty unacceptable. So good luck, Philly. But I don't think my eyes tell me if Sirianni makes it through the season, he'll be fired at the end. I don't know if he'll make it. Calling Bill Belichick online too. Moving right along, man. Washington Commanders. Salute the Commanders. Man, Washington 3-1. They whoop up on Arizona at Arizona 42-14. Man, I'm gonna tell you something. This is only week 5, right? Of the NFL season. Excuse me, week 4. Well, I'm tripping. This is week 4 of the NFL season. So slow up. We ain't gonna get too carried away. But I'm gonna tell you something. Jalen Daniels is making this thing look way too simple as a rookie. I mean, the young fella is doing some incredible things. So through the first 4 games of his career, Jaden Daniels has the highest completion percentage of 88.3% in NFL history. Let me say that again. Through 4 games, 88.3 completion percentage, highest in NFL history, besting the great Tom Brady for second place on that list. Daniels was 26 of 30 for 233 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, in which he got greedy and tried to hit McLaurin over the top when they disguised the cover 2 and the safeties were up front. And then once the ball was like they got back there, Daniel should have checked that down, and he admitted after the game he got a little greedy. But nonetheless, I mean, 6 days after completing a rookie record 91.3% of his passes in a win at Cincinnati, Daniels was 26 of 30 for 233 yards. Once again, this bears repeating, folks. I'm sorry. Becoming the first quarterback in NFL history to post a completion percentage of at least 85% in consecutive games. Wow, and just imagine, a few decades ago, it was said the black quarterbacks in the NFL wasn't smart enough or cerebral enough to play the position. That was a bunch of bull malarkey, or should I say bullshit, right? You got this young kid breaking NFL history records. Let that sink in for a second, right? In NFL, all at that position, it comes down to 2 things: infrastructure and coaching. And hats off to Cliff Kingsbury, because he's doing something right and communicating with the young man. It helps that Washington is running Daniels' college offense, but man, this young kid is making it look very easy. And as a rookie, I mean, the sky's the limit if he can stay healthy. Hopefully, he's a little slight guy, so hopefully he knows about RG3 and Mike Vick and some of the other great runners. Get down, brother. Slide. Don't suffer those hits because you're too valuable and you're too great of an asset to not only the Commanders but the NFL in general. Hats off to Jaden Daniels. Matter of fact, he gets my best of the week for his performance. Yeah, man. Washington hasn't had a winning record after 4 weeks since 2011. And I'm going to tell you something. Washington, formerly known as the Redskins, some of the best fans in the league. So if they get that thing rolling, which, by the way, they're a NFC East best 3-1, woo, that's going to be interesting up there. New ownership, new coach, brand new quarterback. Things are looking up for the Commanders. Congrats, guys. Congrats. Moving right along here, Green Bay and the undefeated Minnesota Vikings at 4-0. Who saw that coming? I know I didn't. Minnesota's 4-0. Sam Darnold looks like he's been dipped into the fountain of youth quarterback factory. And you know, it's funny because Sam Darnold's only 29 years old. He's still a young guy. Matter of fact, let me look that up. Let's see. How old is Sam Darnold?
27 years old.
I got Stacy. This ain't Siri, by the way. This is my girl Stacy. Sam Darnold, folks. I don't know if you can see that. Sam Darnold just seems like he's been around for forever. This dude is only 27 years old. This is his 7th NFL season. That's crazy. Sam Darnold is 27 years old. Yesterday at Green Bay, division game, Darnold was 20 of 28, 275 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He is getting it done along with Brian Flores's very underrated Minnesota defense. Minnesota's about to be a problem in the NFC Central there. They're about to be a problem, man. Darnold made a throw. I don't know if you guys watched the game, but I saw the highlights. Darnold made a throw to dang on Justin Jefferson. That thing stuck to his lower chamber of his heart muscle. Justin Jefferson didn't even have to turn or do anything for the ball. It was like Velcro. I mean, one of the most incredible throws you're going to see. Minnesota took advantage, and speaking of Jefferson, of Green Bay not having its shutdown corner, Jair Alexander, who was out the injury for that game. And man, they looked awesome. Now, keep in mind as well that Green Bay, Jordan Love was his first game back from a 3-game injury. This was his first game back since they played Philly in the game opener in Brazil. I don't know. LaFleur, if I was LaFleur, I would have waited at least another week. Why bring him back during a pivotal division game and a big-time rivalry game with all that rust on him? Especially when you consider Malik Willis was really playing well for Green Bay. Let Jordan Love sit out another week. Let him in because he clearly wasn't himself. He was a little gimpy. So I don't know what Green Bay was thinking on that one. But they end up losing the game. It was probably a sweet redemptive victory as well for ex-Packer, now Viking running back Aaron Jones, who had 93 yards rushing. Well, like I say, Love was clearly rusty. But Minnesota looked really good. And I think on a positive for Green Bay, I think they found something in second round pro Jordan Reed, the kid from Michigan State. He had a phenomenal game. I should have this up, but let me see what his record, his stats were from yesterday. I think he had 7 for 144, but I want to be sure. Don't want to give you guys crappy stats. Jordan Reed, let's see. I don't want team stats. Any box score. Receiving, and excuse me for butchering his name. Jaden Reed is his name. 7 for 139, 1 touchdown. He averaged 20 yards a catch like yesterday. So I think they found something in him. He balled out, truly balled out. And probably that's about it. But it was a phenomenal day of football. The last game of the night was Lamar Jackson and the Dirty Bird Baltimore Ravens. Of course, being a Pittsburgh fan, we needed those guys to lose. But man, they stampeded Buffalo. They curb stomped them. Made those guys look very average. And this is the Baltimore Ravens that the NFL fears. Derrick Henry had 203 yards rushing. He blasted off for an 87-yard touchdown run. And for a big dude, he can still run. for a big guy, he can still get it up. So Baltimore handled him. Lamar Jackson was sharp from the pocket, not only running, but from the pocket. If Lamar Jackson does that game in and game out, the thing about Jackson is he's a very inconsistent passer. But if he does that from the pocket from game in, game out, and the Ravens are stout on defense as well, they're going to be a problem. Baltimore is going to be a problem. I still think that the best team in the AFC North is Cincinnati, however, but Baltimore smacked Buffalo in the mouth last night. Let me get that final. Baltimore, 35-10. So Derrick Henry must have lost a few yards. They officially gave him 199 yards rushing. That sucks. Go ahead and get one more yards and get 200, man. But they smacked them. They smacked them all around the field. Let's see what the team stats were. Baltimore rushed for 271 yards versus Buffalo's 81. Man, that was a dominant win. Baltimore time of possession 31 minutes to Buffalo's 28 minutes. 22 first downs to Buffalo's 12. 427 total yards to Buffalo's 236. And for everybody talking about Josh Allen, yeah, Josh Allen is a good player, but you saw what Lamar Jackson can be if he can stay consistent. And I thought offensive coordinator Todd Monken, they had a great game plan. They stuck with it, and they look really good. They're really good. All right, gang, that's all I had. Love to hear from you. Any comments? Any way we can make the channel better? Love to hear from you as well. Let's let us know. And thanks for hanging out with your boy. Have an awesome Monday. Peace and blessings, everybody.